Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia Pilot into the Universal Chinese. Let's continue our exploration or explanation or interpretation of Xi's quotes. I'm not a political commentator, but I lived in China for a quarter century, and I experienced firsthand a vibrant era of China. Xi came into power after I left China, so I don't really have direct experience living under his rule, but I've heard about what he said, what he did. Okay, so here is a little bit close-up examining of the text from the direct quote of his speeches, and this statement of 不忘初心，牢记使命 was iterated multiple times, and specifically from 2017 to 2019, the internal meeting among the CCP, the higher officials of CCP gathering. So he was emphasizing 初心, the original heart, your original intention, and then 牢记使命, your mission, like why we are here. So that's exactly pre-COVID years, right? He was talking about remembering where we came from, what's our original intention, which is coming from the lineage of communism, Marxism, right? And then Leninism, all sorts of isms that paint the picture of this utopia of 全体人民共同富裕, that was what was talked about last episode, about this big promise of everybody have this universal prosperity, have this access to universal, very vaguely defined universal prosperity. Therefore, as a justification of why they are here. Okay, so 不忘初心. So we have this negation of forget something, and then this 牢记 is like affirmation, like a firmly remember. So one is forget, one is remember. That's I guess the Chinese Communism Party have this habitual way of expressing something in short sentences or phrases that basically talking about the same thing, but say it twice in a little bit of different packaging. In this case, it's a negation and affirmation, but they are pointing toward the same thing. You just say it in two different ways. So negation is don't forget your original heart, and 心 used as the Chinese way means heart, means your internal thinking or intention, and then 牢记使命, like then is firmly to remember your past, your mission, why you're here, where you're going. This was said in the context of after years of China becoming part of the global trade system, right? Actually become the winner of this global trade era. I guess the biggest benefactor from that era, that China, part of its economy, a big part of its economy, is plugged into this global trade system, the global investment community as well. So it became like internationalized. It became the style of the Western system, the Western open market system. And then it's totally against the streak of communism, which is a closed system, which is controlled by a totally different ideology. Doesn't believe in capitalism, doesn't believe in market. It believes in central government. I mean, what a vanity, right? That you think you can outdo market. But that's the logic there. And that's the original heart. Original heart is, remember, we're a communism party. CCP is, the C is communism there. And we're the Chinese version of communism. That's the original heart. And the 使命, their mission, where they're going, is to continue this path of communism. Don't let us to get derailed into this trap of global market or global capitalism game. We are a different species, so to speak, or we're a bird singing different song. So that is a reminder to all the CCP party members about who they are. So that's a pretext to the COVID era, which is a even more dramatic split between how China behaved versus it came as a shock to the global system. First came as a virus from China, unfortunately, came from China. And then this global trade almost like placed the whole global community's health at hostage almost by refusing or by prioritizing. I guess it's understandable as well, prioritizing certain countries over other countries, of course, themselves first, to have medical devices first for China, and then prioritize. Like that becomes like a blackmailing almost. It's a shock. So then people recognize, oh, they are actually come from a different original heart. They have a different mission. Even if they are playing the game of global market, they are good, strong player, but they are totally singing a different song there. And that is in this quote. Before the COVID time, he already stated multiple times in the CCP insider meeting. Okay, so I want to highlight one character, which is Chu. What do you mean by Chu? Chinese, Chu Xin, place it. I translate it as an original heart. This Chu can also mean the first time, because Chinese have Chu Wen, the first kiss, Chu Ye, the first sex. So this Chu actually was tied eventually in the use in other contexts, a little bit romanticized as well. The original of Chu in Chinese character is tied with cloth making. So here is the end product of clothing. It's pronounced as E, means clothing, generic. Didn't say what kind of clothing. That is used most commonly seen front closure of the clothing, which is kind of a wrap, one side over the other in the shape. You can just visually see that's a collar shape, collar line, this wrap shape. And then the back, somebody view it as the back neckline that has a dart in it. I don't know if you know what dart is, but it's a sewing to wedge the two pieces of cloth. Otherwise, it's flat 2D, right? And when you add a dart, it becomes 3D because you sew a wedge between the two. So you kind of mold the 2D form into a 3D, have a little bit of shape. So it's more body shape hugging side. It could be that, or I can view it as a hat, Chinaman's hat shape. That's kind of a racist picture right there again. But together, these two parts together means clothing, generic. The right side is knife. Okay, I guess scissors was invented later on, but people use knife to cut a piece of cloth originally. And this cutting was viewed as the beginning of the making of clothing. Because, hey, cut and sew, right? You have to first cut it, and then you can sew it. So cut comes first. When you cut, that means you cut a piece of fabric, you're ready to make clothing. That's the beginning of the clothing making journey, so to speak. Okay, so that's how Chinese define original, or the first step of something. All right, so 不忘初心, I translate it as back to the origin, like to the CCP were reminded where they came from, where they're going. That's their origin. They have to continue their own narration, their story, their mission. So I'm just putting a generic light up heart shape. This is something universal because Chinese use heart versus English use hard, kind of in a similar sense of marking your intention, marking your internal cognitive or especially emotional side of our, our wiring. That's your, what you think, what's your internal operating, how you're processing information inside. So that's universal. All right, cashing into the currency of thinking by one word a day. This is Sophie. See you another day.